What's going on, chat? Happy BTL 426 piece. As always, hold the fry, joined by your two hosts, Krabs and Javon, presented by Pickett Sports. If you guys aren't tracking your bets on Pickett, what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Figure it out, grow up, download Pickett Sports, use promo code Javon, and start tracking your bets in 2024. Okay? Start tracking those conference futures. How about that one, chat? We got a couple of those to go over today. Javon, we'll get to that. All right, for now, let's recap the W squad ride. Great play, great look. Love the over. All right, legacy performance. Any comments from that over that soared last night?
I mean, shout out the Raptors G League team. That was really a bet on if they could score because we knew the Nuggets would do it at some point or another. But, yeah, first half they kept up. Choked at the end, but they already did their job at that point.
They did their damn job. And then some. Unbelievable performance offensively there. Took us over. Gosh, man, was this one of our only winners of the day? It might have been.
Yeah, not too many.
At least it was for me.
It was a pretty moose slate. We were looking ahead to today.
Gosh, man. And yeah, shout out Trent for taking the Raptors up 20 and they blew it and they lost. Insane. You literally can't make it up. His words have powers. I've been saying it for years. No one else does, but he legitimately has powers. I don't understand it. He spoke it into existence once again. So, yes, guys, if we get to 5K subs on the YouTube, I will do a 24-hour stream. Can you guys show some heart? Do me a favor. Subscribe to the YouTube. Could not be easier. Could not be freer. It takes 3 seconds. Show some goddamn heart on this Tuesday morning or afternoon, wherever you're listening to, and drop a subby on the YouTubes, okay? A little cheat code. Also gets you away from the ads on Twitch as well if you want to go watch over there. You know, you got to be over here for the squad ride poll. But if you want to go over there now and avoid the ads and maybe drop a sub, feel free. Okay. Holy red gobs. Okay. We knew the Corbin and Mikolas square was cake. I mean, that was just getting too cute, getting too confident there on a Monday. Towson, sure, they came through. It was always them. They were going to cover. Arkansas State's, their magic ran out against the Dukes, who is just a team of destiny. Gosh, man, I'm excited to see the Dukes in March Madness and see what draw they get because who fucking knows what they could do. I mean, they're a legit mid-major team. They could pull off an upset in the tournament. I'm calling it right now. Gosh, man, the Tommies, terrible. TAMC, atrocious, even worse of a bet. I don't even care that spread was short. They got obliterated. Javon, comments on your plays, man. We got to be better.
Yeah, UNO fought for a little bit, choked at the end. Hofstra, shit wager, Nuggets over air. That Weber State Montana State game, I don't know how that was possible. They had I don't know what the final tally was for the second half, but Montana State almost scored 70. Maybe they did cross the 70 threshold in the second half, but there was 59, I want to say, total in the first half, and they found a way. So that one sucked, but Duran found his way too, which was huge. So,
yeah, great play there. Had that paired with so many squares. Oh my goodness, so many 2 pieces, 3 pieces. Hell, even a couple 4 pieces. I had that paired with. So good work, Javon. It was always Duran. He went nuclear last night. Gosh, man, I hope you have a square like that today. I'm going to need it. All right. Any nerfies on today's slates? I know we've got some college basketball games during the day. We don't want to take too much time up here. Let's just take a quick peek. The one that caught my eye at first was obviously Reagan's and Cal Quantrell. Up there is a combo. I feel like that one might just be meant to be.
Could be. I haven't looked too deep at the slate, see if we have any weird totals like the Pirates-Boston game yesterday. That's official. Oh, my Lord. The Cowboys are in moose shit.
What?
Wow.
Official now?
Wow. You know, Goots has been salivating.
Goots.
Absolutely salivating. Waiting
I'm
for the news.
splooging.
That's huge, Goots.
Holy shit.
That could be the difference, Goots. Okay. Little Derrick Henry to the Ravens action. Huh.
This always happens. It's like they both have mutual agreements together, and then he ends up going to the fucking Raiders. So this is crazy that this finally happened.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are due. You finally said, cut the shit. Let's just go out and get the best running back on the markets and, stop beating around the bush. You know what I mean?
Beating around the bush.
Yeah. Go get the guy. He's got a couple years left on those legs. We'll see how he does. I mean, I've always thought you put this guy behind that Ravens offensive line and a Harbaugh-style offense. I mean, good fucking luck. AFC East. Seriously.
Here comes a salty Steelers fan. Typical.
Yeah, I mean, he's not in his prime, but you know what? Him running down behind that offensive line with Lamar Jackson back there as well, it's probably going to work pretty well.
Probably.
considering they're only going to really have to go against 10 defenders. Javon, comments, thoughts. Will Derrick Henry be, the best running back in the NFL on the Ravens? Will he be elite? Will he be good? Will he stink? What are your thoughts?
I mean, he's a good complement to the run game. That's exactly what they need. We'll see if he can hold up if they're giving him however many carries a game and letting him carry the offense like the run game did this year. It kind of sounds like a recipe to not be healthy for the entire season, in my opinion.
Yeah, Javon's not going to give it to you, Goots. I will, though.
Whatever.
I think it's
Whatever.
a good pickup.
Yeah.
I'll give it a hit.
All right. How about the Manders? How about all their pickups?
The Manders are cooking.
Marcus Mariota, huh?
Cooking. That's a solid backup.
RIP Sam Howell.
Yeah, he's
holy
cooked.
smokes. I don't think this ownership group is fucking around.
No, they're not fucking around. They went out and got.
I think they're saying, you know what, all
fantastic
these stories
ads.
are cool and all. Sam Howell getting drafted, playing pretty well last year, 2 years, pretty cool. You're out of here. Smell you later. Okay, you don't produce, you don't win, you're out of here. That's what this ownership group does. That's why you bring in a guy like Marcus Mariota. Should be a great answer. Backup QB. Okay, people are talking. Probably means we get Jaden Daniels. That's what they're thinking. I mean, I don't know if that has any effect on what type of QB we draft. I think we draft Jaden Daniels anyways. But we'll see. I'll be pretty blown when we take Drake May. It's coming. We'll see who we take. All right. But we're definitely not rolling with Mariota at the number 1. And then bringing in Marcus Mariota and paying him, pretty well, pretty good QB2 money there, with some good guarantees. Tells me Sam Howell's out of here and tells me we're drafting a QB at 2, which was already kind of known. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I like the pieces we've signed. We're not going to keep this as, a Manders pod, but I like the pieces we've signed so far. Not a ton of, crazy big names. Austin Eckler is sick. I think that's going to be great with B-Rob to complement, B-Rob being more of a bruiser and an actual, first, second down back. And then Austin Eckler, who can do that a little bit too. But obviously being more of a passing back, which is huge. So I'm all in, right? Besides him, it's not the biggest of names, but it's guys who have played really well recently and, were positions of need significantly. Okay, kicker, like stuff that people don't talk about, but like that needed to happen. Joey Slye, bless your heart, brother. You're a Hokie. Smell you later. Get out of here. We have a real kicker now, Brandon McManus. Let's see how he does. Could be the difference. I don't know. We finally got a linebacker for the first time. Could be pretty cool.
Dude,
Luvu didn't get one.
Luvu is a dog.
I like that pick.
I think that's one of the sneaky best deals that's been made in the last, what it's been a day in free agency. Yeah. He is so good.
I like that pick. They had his eyes on him because obviously, he went pretty freaking quick as soon as this free agency period opened up. I'm pretty stoked, Javon. No complaints on my end. We'll see who else we snag, but got a center, got a pass rusher from the Cowboys. Huge. Why not, right? Making good moves. We do need a long snapper. Chiote, we will address that. Don't worry. Cheeseman, bless his heart. He will be out of here and probably flipping burgers.
Sign Chiote,
his long snapping days are over. Yep.
Sign Chiote. Get him down there.
Chiote, if we need some snaps, you got a couple left in you? Let me know. We cannot be having Cheeseman snap the ball, ground balls back to Tressway and having him get hurt again. That cannot happen. You got to protect, our crown jewel here in Tressway. Come on. All right. Yeah, Ravens, Derrick Henry, crazy. We'll see how it plays out. If he stays healthy, he'll be a menace. He's a fossil. We'll see if he stays healthy. But in my eyes, Ravens just got better today.
They did.
Not even close. All right. Awesome. We got Lamar and Derrick Henry in the Heisman commercials that are elite. W. Goots. He's been looking for that for the last 10 minutes. Dial. Good work.
Crazy.
All right. Awesome, boys. You want to go over these sharp reports? I'm not seeing any Nerfy speaking to me today. There's too many conference games, too many day games on for CBB as well. Do we want to cut the shit and do the sharp report so we can get to the conference winners? What do you want to do first? Do we want to go over the early games? What are you thinking? What's chat thinking? What do you guys want? What are we craving today? Because here's what we got on the agenda. Obviously, sharp report, day game action. Okay, we have a bunch of conference winners we need to go over as well for these tournaments starting today. What do you guys want? Early games, assuming?
We have
early games
time. We have
no
time for the early
games,
games
though, right?
until 2. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no early
games from now.
Let's start while we're on here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Trent
State
wants to
UCF
sharp
did
report.
tip off 15 to go. What a shit game. All right, sharp report. Let's hop in. All right. That'll encompass, one of these games starting up soon as well. Let's dive in. All right. 10 plays, 10 winners, Javon. Today's slate, a little bit better than yesterday. Got some tourneys starting up, got a couple finishing up, and obviously some NBA as well. No hockey. Actually, there is a hockey play. I was going to say, first time we haven't had hockey in a while. We got a hockey play on there. All right, so diversifying the portfolio, chat. Got plenty of plays, plenty of options, and 2 Miami plays. We'll talk about it. Can I start us off in Georgia Tech, though?
You can.
Let me start us off with this game. So you've got Shrewsbury coming in. I mean, overall, pretty solid season under the helm at Notre Dame there. That's a tough place to coach. And he did a pretty solid job, I would say. Personally, I mean, Javon, we talked about it. I thought they were going to be the worst team in the ACC this year. I didn't think it would be close. They had no talents. Everyone transferred who had any sort of talents. Then they got this Burton kid. Comes in. Pretty freaking good. All right. Freshman. Plays defense. Can score. Lightning quick. Can shoot. Can pass. Does everything. Going to be a great star point guard in this league for the next couple of years if he stays. Okay. Well, I'm looking at this game against Georgia Tech today, and I'm looking at that spread, and I'm thinking, there's no way Notre Dame swept the season series against Georgia Tech, right? Georgia Tech only wins important games. They only beat good teams. It's like they save their important games and actually try against the good squads, and then against Notre Dame's, they blow. So I look back and I see, they actually did get swept by the Irish this year. That's pretty embarrassing. That can't happen. Really hard to beat a team 3 times. Javon, I'd be shocked if they do it. I'm, really liking that +1.5 or the ML, but I'm cutting the shit and going with the ML. This is an important game for Georgia Tech. Talent-wise, I do think they're a little bit ahead of Notre Dame, and I like seeing them as a short dog, when they've already lost to this team twice. And Notre Dame's been getting a lot of gas, and they've been covering a lot of games. People are talking about this Irish team. We've seen Marcus Burton get the respect after the season, make him one of the all-ACC defense teams. They're getting a little bit of respect here, and they ended the season pretty strong. Georgia Tech, they did as well besides that UVA game. I got a feeling we see the Yellow Jackets win this game outright and hand a very young squad and a first-year ACC coach a loss in the first round of this tournament down here in D.C. I just think Georgia Tech is just way better, and important games they pull through. I'll take the ML plus check.
Salute you on that one. I don't want to fade Notre Dame. I'm starting.
What do you think about the line? Take out the Notre Dame bias, because I know I don't like doing it either, but sometimes it has to be done.
Yeah, I know there's bias in this one, but I mean, I don't think the line's too weird. Neutral court, and they're a little different of a team. They've gotten like really big spreads over the past like couple of games too, bigger than I was expecting. So I don't know if they're getting really respected yet. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I don't think it's too weird, but it is probably a coin flip game. I just don't want to fade.
Who do you like before we move
in that game? I would say Notre Dame.
Wow, rolling with the hot hand, rolling with the rooks. Okay.
Yeah, I think this is like the perfect big momentum win to go into next season. Get one in the conference tournament, get the guys some experience, have a game before they've been there, done that, before they become the wake of next year, where they flirt with March Madness and have a couple big wins.
I hope you're right. It's a win-win for me. You guys know I'm a closet Notre Dame fan. I hope they return to Mike Bray dominance, but they've got a long way to go. Take me to Miami. Tell me about the Hurricanes, Javon. Very excited to hear what you like about them today.
Yeah, so I mean the line speaks for itself. I don't think it's like as weird as I guess some people are making it to be, but it's definitely a little off and a little weird to see them favored coming off of I think 9 in a row, and they've been pitiful to end the year. Some of that's due to injuries. They're getting a little healthier, and coming into this game, like I think this I guess we can talk about a little bit when the conference tourney talk starts. I think this is their toughest game if they were to get through this game and then head to play Syracuse and then going to play Virginia. So I think they got a really good draw, and if they get through this game, they're definitely in business to make a little run in this tournament. But in this game, it's really going to come down to can Omier hold down Quentin Post, and can they give him enough looks to either get him in foul trouble, where he's been very, very prone to do that a lot of the time this season, especially, which is why I haven't been betting him nearly as much. But then can they also just outshoot the BC guards, which the BC guards, a lot of them have very dramatic shooting splits home and away. And when they're playing a team that's not like a Louisville, who has a pretty terrible perimeter defense, it hasn't been pretty. So you're going to need guys like Keshawn George, who, I mean, he hasn't been a factor in either of the 2 games, partially because of foul trouble, and then the other one because of an injury. Need him to step up, need Poplar to step up as he continues to get healthier. And it's really that group of guards against, Claudel Harris, who doesn't get the ball nearly as much as he should. Jaden Zachary is pitiful to watch, especially on the road. So it's going to come down to that. And I think Miami wins that matchup, and I think they do enough against Quentin Post, and they will definitely be forcing the ball out of his hands. So I do not like Miami just in general, but I think today and in the tournament, they're not set up too bad.
Yeah, I'm stoked for the ACC tournament, man. It's going to be absolutely epic. There's going to be weird games. The Hokies are probably going to win the whole thing. We'll get to it. But Miami, look, they get a chance to hit the reset button, Javon. All jokes aside, they really do. And we know their lineup is stacked. And yes, they've had injuries. And yes, Nigel Pack probably not coming back, right? He's probably done for the year. Okay. We don't know that, but probably. They've got plenty of guys. All right. This team, they've got a great coach. They've got plenty of money in their bank accounts from being one of the richest NIL teams in college basketball. They've got it all. And they've got a chance to hit the reset button, wipe whatever the fuck we just saw during the regular season here, where they had a chance to be, easily the number 3 team in the ACC in a down year. My goodness, Miami blew it. But look at the odds, Javon, for the ACC tourney, right? You got, who are they playing in this spot? They're playing Boston College.
BC.
300 to 1.
Yeah.
300 to 1. You see what Miami's odds are?
Yeah.
150 to 1.
Pretty short.
Half. That's a great sign for Miami, not only in a tournament potentially, and obviously, they're weighing in their roster and they have the talents, right? But they have no wins. They've been playing like moose shit. This team stinks. They're toxic as heck. Look at the odds. Let those speak for themselves. And Miami, right, obviously catching steam in this spot as well. I think they're too talented for Boston College. Boston College also beat them twice this season already. Are they going to beat Miami 3 times? I think Larinaga settles down and gets his boys playing the right way. Wooga Poplar going to be leading the charge offensively. Norchad Omier down in the paint, holding it down against Quentin Post. I don't see Miami losing in this game. They have a perfect opportunity to make up for all the moose shit play they've had in recent weeks and months with one game tonight, and it's really tough to beat a team 3 times, like I said earlier. Boston College, good luck. Seriously.
Yeah. It also, I don't know if saying it helps them is the right word, but if you look at the situations of both of those games, especially like the last one they played where they were in Miami, they beat them. That was the game Nigel Pack shot terribly because he was hurt. Then he left the game hurt, so they had to adjust mid-game, which played a pretty big factor into that. Now they're kind of coming into this situation knowing exactly what they got to do. So it's a little different. That in the first game was also weird with very new injuries and it being the first game to kind of adjust to that. So it's definitely, they caught them at a really good spot the 2 times they played. It's not the same right now.
All right. We'll see how that game plays out. Seems like everyone on earth back in Miami, all the sharps coming out of their caves, placing those Miami bets, tweeting out Miami -2, Miami money line. We'll see how it goes because we're all on the Hurricanes tonight. All right. I haven't seen one Boston College slip yet. Sketchy, but holding our ground. All right. Yep. Let me take you to probably one of the nastiest CBB plays of the day. The under in Wagner and Merrimack. Javon, I'll keep it simple for this one. These teams can't score. Last time these guys played in late January, final score 60-44. Barely put up 100 points in that contest. This game, this total, these 2 teams, they give me UVA total vibes from about 2 years ago when the totals were actually low. In this economy in 2024, you don't see those, 115, 118, 113 UVA totals really much anymore because there's just more points to be had in these college games. The totals just aren't that low. Seeing a total drop down from 121 to 118.5, 119.5, whatever you can get, is a great sign, I personally think. And I don't see a world where either of these 2 squads, mainly, I hate to say it, Javon, but earmuffs, Wagner, I don't see how they're going to put up more than 50 points in this game. Again, I don't know how they do it. I feel like this Merrimack team has been absolute clamps. They've won 4 of their last 5. They're playing great defense. They just held Lemoyne to 51 points and absolutely clamped them up. They're not covering, but they're clamping and they're locking up. And then, honestly, Wagner not scoring too much, but their defense has been great too. And we know that team's been one of the better defensive squads, coming out of this conference and even making March Madness at times. They're solid. And this total's dropping for a reason. It's the lowest total of the day for a reason. When these teams played this season, barely put up 100s. I think it'll be much of the same today. Total's already down to 118.5.
Yeah, and I'll stick in that game and kind of jump. I think you're not wrong to think that there's not going to be points even from Wagner, but even if they score barely 50 points, I think they could still cover this number. So I think it's going to be that tough of a game. So I'm sticking with the plus 3,000, that I had in to win the tournament with Wagner, and I'm adding a unit, putting it on the spread here because I think they can cover this game, especially because once you see a team that runs a zone more than a couple times, you kind of get used to what to expect, which I think on the road when they played them in the game, they put up 44 points and lost the game. I think it was the second time. They looked very confused. Let's call it that. So they weren't really generating many good shots, and they've seen a couple of zone teams in between now and then. So I think they're going to figure it out today, and I think it's going to be a very close game, especially with the low total. Lean into the dog with the high number. But on the other side too, Merrimack, they've kind of gotten along the entire season just by shooting over top of teams. And Wagner is one of those teams where it hasn't really necessarily worked. And when they did score points against them in that second game, they needed to go to the free throw line to do it. And Wagner's been really good at avoiding that for the past really couple of weeks, which is why they've started to play a little bit better. So I think this is a pretty close game, even if it's 55-50. I think they could sneak by with a little cover. And I mean, I think they're certainly live with as weird of a game as it is to win it outright and cash a tournament future.
Yeah, you are. I like the play. Wagner, Javon's been on it all week. All right, he called it. Let's see if they can cover once more in a game that's going to be disgusting and would put you to sleep if you turn it on your TV. Okay? Take me to that over on the ice, will you? And then we'll catch up down there with South Dakota State. But I want to hear what you like on the ice today. Why are we liking goals in Anaheim and Chicago?
Yeah, it's a toilet bowl game. So, I mean, there's a lot of these games in the slate, I guess, where they're around to pick them. It's pretty even, especially you have like two really, really good games. And then you have, I guess, the two mushit games between this one and the Jackets Habs. But a lot of these teams, especially the Blackhawks, have been opening it up a lot as of late, which is kind of like you're reaching the point in the season where you're just like, fuck it, we're just going to let everybody go, especially when we play teams like that are the Ducks-ish and they're on our level. They've started to open it up and be a lot more aggressive, especially, Connor Bedard in a lot of these games. He's just kind of let it rip. They've mixed up the lines. Now they have a big piece in depth coming back today too, which is huge for the Blackhawks. And really the only time they show any sort of a pulse, especially offensively, is at home. And they very well might close this game as the favorite, which may be the first time this year, or at least since the very early going of the year. So I think against the Ducks, it's just going to be a classic toilet bowl game, which a lot of those have been showing a lot of goals lately. And the Blackhawks especially, like I think this is a game where you're going to get some crazy Connor Bedard highlights. And it's the perfect defense to do it against, the perfect team to do it against, who's pretty thin right now. And obviously the goaltending situation is not fantastic really on either end. Mrazek's been pretty inconsistent. I haven't seen a confirmed goalie for the Ducks just yet, but can only assume. And on the other side too, like this Blackhawks defense is god awful, and you're going to be playing a super aggressive team right now. So just one of those games. I want to see goals.
Splits look good in this game, I will say. Looking like, what do we got for the over? 44% of bets, 61% of handle on that over. Pretty solid.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
Connor Bedard was indeed one goal short of a Hattie last game. Just might happen tonight. There's not many opportunities that they're going to be playing Mushit teams like this the rest of the season at home where he's got a chance to do it in front of the fans. So this could be the one.
All right. Looks like our guy Brandon is coming in hot from the Twitter. I'm thinking about putting 1K on Georgia Tech. Is it a lock? Nope, not a lock. No such thing as a lock. But definitely like Georgia Tech in that first game. I will say, though, if you're going to put a rack on something, I'd probably do it on Miami today by looking at this board. But that's just me. And also, I wouldn't put a rack on anything. I would split that up into a couple bets. All right. Yeah. W's, if you guys are watching on Twitter, welcome. Please join us in the Twitch chats. Way more active. Come in, ask some questions about any of the games today. Book It Sports on Twitch or subscribe to our YouTube. Takes 3 seconds. Super free, super easy. And if we get to 5K subs, I'll do a 24-hour stream in the coming weeks. All right. Show some hearts. Chat. Make it happen. All right. Here's the YouTubes. Go check it out. Drop a subby. Super quick. Super easy. All right. Let me take you to another nasty CBB game. All right. South Dakota State. This team is a wagon. All right, Javon. I don't see anybody knocking them off. I'll tell you what. We need to see Zeke Mayo in March Madness, and it starts today. He's got to take care of business and hand this Denver squad, who's already beaten them once this season, I believe. Yep, back in early January when they put up a 99 Burke. And we know Denver has one of the best scorers in the mid-majors, absolute beast. We'll see if they can slow him down a little bit, Javon, but I don't think they're going to have any problems looking at the spreads, moving up from what, -7.5, -8.5 to -9.5, 10 some places now. Gosh, this team dominates. We know they're playing in South Dakota for this tournament. I don't see Denver getting in their way at all. And I think this spread opened up fat. It's moved even more. They're almost up to 10-point favorites. I mean, Denver's been hanging around. They've got the top scorer in the mid-majors on their team. They're coming off 2 nice wins against Omaha and UMKC, who was the hottest team in this conference. heading into the tournaments, and they still handed them a fat out. I think this spread is hilarious. And I think like a lot of them today with these, Cinderella stories, teams like Denver, teams like Stony Brook, they're getting disrespected on these spreads today for a reason. It's because they're about to have a wake-up call. Hate to say it's maybe one of them sneaks out with a crazy upset win, but it's never this many. Unfortunately, the ones who don't win are probably going to get obliterated. It is what it is. Look, money's there to be made, so we got to take Mayo, the best player in this conference. We need to see Zeke, almost averages 20 points a game, stud guards in March Madness. Got to get a big win today. I think they do with ease.
Could see that. Could see the party coming into an end here. Could be the
end. The Denver party, Pioneer party.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
What's that kid's name who averages all those points? Johnny Bruner? Is that what his name is?
Bruner, yeah. I don't know if it's
he's a stud. He kind of cooled off a little bit towards the end of the year, but gosh, they're going to have their hands full covering him, but they've done it already. Like I said, they lost to Denver, but then they bounced back and beat him. I think they beat him again.
Yeah, I could be on that. Can I take you to, or I guess not Houston, but San Antonio?
Sure.
Fading the Spurs today, which this is, I believe, the first game that the Rockets are going to be without Sengun. So if there's any silver lining to buying a bad news, it's not really ever sharp to fade the Spurs, but kind of think I'm leaning into that a little bit, especially because like the Spurs, their offense is not really ever rolling unless they're shooting the three really, really well. And to be honest with you, I mean, the Rockets defense, first of all, has been one of the better 3-point defenses in the league, especially over the last month. But without Sengun, like, not that this has any effect on their 3-point shooting, but we're talking about Wemby, assuming he plays today. You would think on paper, like, now that Jock Landale is going to be in there, it's a little easier picking inside. It's really not, because Sengun is a defensive liability, for being generous. So in there, like, Jock Landale is just as formidable on defense. And then you got a team in the Rockets who are defending the three well. You got the Spurs off of back-to-back after just taking one from the Warriors. So, I mean, vibes are kind of high. I guess you could say it seems like they're crashing down for the Rockets after seeing Sengun get carted off, but I don't really think that's the case. I think their offense is going to do literally whatever they want. Now they have a little more free-flowing of an offense, which I think kind of works for them. You're going to see Jabari Smith with a lot of freedom in this offense. I think Dylan Brooks can have a pretty solid game too. Jalen Green is going to do whatever he wants. And yeah, that could be crazy. It could be the one. He's definitely going to have a lot more opportunity now without Sengun. So yeah, I think a lot of their guards are going to absolutely feast, and then Jabari can do whatever he wants. So I think this kind of works out well in the short term for the Rockets. Obviously not long term, because Sengun is amazing, especially a great offensive piece, kind of like Jokic, but defensively he's not anything special. And Jock Landale, I mean, by the numbers, is significantly better. So against Wemby and against whatever the Spurs are going to throw at them, I think the Rockets are in pretty good shape here to take one on the road.
All right, -4.5. Maybe we'll get our 30 piece from Dylan Brooks today. That'd be nice. Would not mind that one bet. All right. You're not going to like my prize pick square, so I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off and let the people know about it. Marcus Burton, talked about him. Javon loves him. He's a stud, as he should. Star point guard for Notre Dame this season, freshman, right? Absolute beast. One of the better players in the conference, honestly. He's going to struggle today, in my opinion. Look, first round of this conference tourney, the lights will be very bright in Capital One Arena in D.C. We've seen this before. These freshmen, these rookies, whatever the heck you want to call them, they're almost not even college kids anymore. They're all like pros running around. These freshmen, look, the lights get too bright, even in college. You see these guys, fail to score at times, in these big arenas, in these conference tourneys when it's must lose to keep your season alive. And with this total, not really that high, 130 opener. I thought that was a little bit low, to be honest with you. I don't see a lot of points in this game. And Javon, we've seen Georgia Tech's offense explode at times this season. I almost ended up taking this under, but I ended up siding with Georgia Tech instead. And you've got, Notre Dame coming off a game where there were 160 points scored total, and the total in this game is 130. That's pretty low, and we've seen a lot of these conference games and championships especially go under because these guys are nervous. They slow down the pace a little bit. We saw a record amount of points this regular season in college basketball, but now you're in tournament time, and it's a different ball game, and you're going to see teams slow it up a little bit, and you're going to see teams run their possessions and take up their full shot clocks. This is not going to be as chaotic and hectic as the regular season was because they're going to milk their possessions. It could be the last ones of their season, all right? Notre Dame, I think they struggle a little bit here. Marcus Burton, I don't think he's going to be the guy. I'm taking his less than PRA. A lot of these guards on Georgia Tech, like Miles Kelly and Reeves, George, these guys can all rebound the heck out of the basketball. And I think they're going to take away any opportunities from Burton there. And I think this Notre Dame offense just struggles. And with a low total, I don't see him going over or more than his PRA. Fade Burton today. Hate to do it, but here's a day game sweat for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, the end is where you can certainly get me involved because those are very good rebounding guards. So I think at the very least, the rebounding opportunities are going to be diminished ever so slightly. But you just better hope Shrewsbury's the guy instead of Burton, which he certainly can be. I think he was both games, he shot 1 for 11 one of the games, so not then, but the first game he lit it up. So somebody's got to be the guy. I don't think the total's too low because both those games like barely touched 100 the times they played, but we'll see what happens now. But yeah, somebody's got to be the guy. I don't want to fade Burton, but if you're going to do it anyway, definitely include the rebounds.
Yep, that's why I took the PRA. Let's hope he doesn't drop a 25, Burke. If he doesn't, we'll be okay.
Yeah, that could be the difference.
Would you look at that, Javon? Jordan Clarkson. He's on the bottom right sector of the Sharp Report. How about them apples? Tell me about him.
Is back in my slip. And yeah, he's been bouncing around from God knows what number, but he was 17.5 this morning. And he's seen it tick up ever since we've seen Laurie out of this lineup. This dude has been absolutely chucking. And you would think on paper, like the Boston Celtics are one of the tougher matchups really for anybody to put up against in the league. So it's not the best idea to be taking squares against them, yada, yada, yada. They're on a back-to-back going into Utah, which not only is that a tough spot, but you can also probably think that somebody's going to sit. And they don't really play any Raptors style of defense. Like they're going to let guys go one-on-one. They're going to allow a lot of pull-ups because they play a lot of drop coverage. That is quite literally Jordan Clarkson. And it's also Keontae George. So he's going to have a good game too. But Jordan Clarkson is the guy. And if you look at the volume, which those last 3 games are the ones that are highlighted, he has been, like I said, chucking ever since Laurie's been out. So it's not really a question of if he's going to get the volume. It's never really the question with Jordan Clarkson. It's if he's going to make the shots, and especially against a tough defense, which really relies on their physicality a lot of the time as opposed to their scheme. Going to a back-to-back in Utah is not the best situation to be in. So we'll see who ends up playing for the Celtics. There's definitely going to be somebody out. But regardless, I really like the spot for Clarkson, and I will be making my return to taking his squares.
All right. They don't have a field goal attempts or shot attempts square up for him, do they?
I wish, because that would be the freest square of all time.
Okay. Yep. Figured they wouldn't. That would make way too much sense.
Yeah.
All right. Juice Crane with a subby. Wow, Juice Crane bringing in a 5-unit sub whale. Holy smokes.
That's hard.
Let's go, Juice Crane.
That's hard.
Sure we can. He resubbed for 12 months. Happy 1-year beast. And he gave out a 5-piece to the people. Good vibes. Maybe he told the squad ride last night. I don't know. Maybe he's just a good person and giving out subs for the people. Either way, W's Juice Crane. Love to see it. All right. Chat, here's the Sharp Reports. All right. We will post this puppy on the Book at BTL Twitter this afternoon right after the show. Take a little screenshots. All right. But no stress. You will see this graphic again on your feet. All right. My favorite play right now, gun to my head, need a winner. Miami money line. They're not losing this game. Way too talented. Crazy movements. Seeing the sharps on them. Splits look good. I don't see the Hurricanes losing. Jovan?
In the business of not saying Miami, I'll go Rockets.
All right. Maybe little Rockets, Miami 2-piece.
Could be the
Take the edge off.
Yeah.
All right. Chat, what are we liking today? All right. And what is on your mind? I know there's been a lot of crazy NFL moves. Anything you guys wanted to talk through? We've got conferences to go over, though, in college basketball. I think 5 conferences start up today. Javon, is this true? Confirm if I'm incorrect. I believe there's a 5-piece.
There's a 5-piece.
The A10, the best tournaments in college basketball, starts up today, Javon. Would love to hear your thoughts. Why don't we rip the Band-Aid off, cut the shit, and dive right into the A10, the best conference in the world? I want your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, this one is a crapshoot. I really don't want to take Dayton, just kind of why I went with Loyola, and it's very tough to beat them in a rematch, but they're the team that, I mean, first of all, I want my coin on Loyola in March, and I think they match up pretty well up to that point. I don't think it was a joke or just a home court thing like people are suggesting. The reason they beat Dayton, and I also think Dayton needs some time to recoup a little bit. Got a couple guys that are banged up, still going to play throughout the tournament, but they're safely in at this point. Sister Jean is playing, very urgent or with a sense of urgency. And I like the way the bracket shakes out for them. If they can get past Dayton, it's a big F, obviously, but taking the value with them, see if they can make another run. This is definitely one of my least confident out of the tournaments that start today, though. I'll say that.
You said, when in doubt, fuck it, I'll take Sister Jean. Why
Yeah.
not? All right. I don't hate it. If you look at the A10 brackets, I mean, you've got Loyola, Chicago down there in the bottom-ish sector with Dayton. We'll see if they can beat a Dayton squad who, like you said, is already in the tourney, how much they have to play for. Maybe they'll be more focused on March Madness. I don't know. Who knows what's good with that Dayton team? You know, come the postseason time, they usually fold both ways, right?
Yeah.
But I got my eyes on some other matchup, Javon. I got my eyes in the top sector of this bracket. I can't keep my eyes off of Richmond as the 1 seed in this tourney. I'm addicted to them at plus 475. And let me tell you why. If they can get through Mason, it's not going to be easy, but Mason just beat them in the last game of the regular season, I believe. We were on George Mason on Saturday, or at least I was. They're going to get a rematch. It's probably going to be George Mason versus not St. Joe's against Richmond in that quarterfinals game, and they're going to be plenty rested taking off those first 2 rounds. I don't see anybody in that first round making it through. Maybe George Washington if they fucking flip the switch, but they've been pretty much a dead team walking the entire second half. Nobody else really has the talent to make any crazy moves in this tourney. You look at the second day, right? You've got other squads in there like VCU. I gave a look to at plus 1,100. I thought maybe that was worth a stab, right? They'll get to probably play UMass, who I'm not really scared of. That's probably more of a value play here in this conference, but I can't get over, Richmond being plus 475. I just think that's way too juicy. They're going to give George Mason that revenge, after losing that game on Saturday. I think they beat him. And then they're going to have to beat, either VCU or UMass, probably VCU. And I see Richmond winning that game as well. Look, they've got a stud point guard who I don't see losing at least until the championship. I'll be honest with you. And then they're going to have to get through a Loyola Chicago team that really has not impressed me that much when they're away from their home court this season, or a Dayton team that has nothing to really play for. They're looking ahead towards March Madness. So that's kind of where my head's at. I like a value play at Richmond. Also wouldn't mind taking a stab if you want some more value on George Mason or VCU. But I'm going with the Spiders.
Sure. You got a little Virginia 2-piece up there?
I do.
Richmond UVA, or Richmond Virginia Tech.
Yeah, no, we'll see how that goes. That should go really well, right?
Yeah.
What is this, Goots? Can we zoom in? Can we zoom in on the bracket or no? That's okay if we can't. But yeah, as you guys can see on the top sector, right, I think it comes down to George Mason. There you go, Goots. Or Richmond towards the top there. That's what I'm vibing with. I think one of those 2 squads, makes a push here and eliminates VCU or UMass, whoever comes out of that second tier. We'll see.
I can see
I'm
that.
stoked for this tourney, though. It's going to be good.
Yeah, let's talk the ACC, Grabs.
All right, man. We got some subbies coming in too. Lord J666. Bang. 25 months. Let's talk the Hokies. Why not us? Have you seen the ACC odds?
I have seen the ACC odds.
What's up with that?
I don't think it's that weird.
I think it's a little weird.
Is
I
it?
do. Chad, if you go down the ACC odds, and I'll go ahead and read it for you. Don't even stress. Don't move a muscle. If you get on the odds, you get on the list, and you see who's sticking out, who's got some weird value, who's getting some respectable lines from the odds makers, and who's not. I mean, first team up is the Hokies. Have to be. All right. Look, they're the 8th seed. They're 30-1. Now down to 25-1 on most books. They're catching steam. Crazy. It makes no sense. They're sandwiched in between Syracuse and Florida State, who are 65-1 and 100-1. And the Hokies getting some odds, respect here for the first time ever in a tournament. What's going on? Then I had a little brain blast. I said, you know what? This season has stunk. This team has stunk. It's been an absolute joke. I feel like they make 0 adjustments during the games. And Mike Young just sits there eating his popcorn, doing nothing. But then I remembered, Javon, Mike Young, he actually won an ACC tournament in his first season, taking over the Hokies from Buzz Williams. Crazy. This team is better than that team he had. And this ACC is worse than the ACC was that year, about 3 years ago. That's facts. That's true. This team has stunk it up this season. They have really underperformed. I'd honestly put them on a list of top 10 teams to underperform this season. They've been bad. It's a waste of talent. It really is. It's been bad vibes since we saw Rodney Rice leave before the season. Something's up. Something's off. I don't get it. This team's too talented to be where they're at right now. And they have a pretty good avenue, Javon, if I could say so myself. We've seen this Virginia Tech team pull off upsets left and right, typically in Blacksburg. We've seen them stink on the road, so it's going to be tough. Nobody said it's going to be easy. That's why they're 25-1, chat, or 30-1 on the green book here, like you're saying. All right. But they have a chance to beat a UNC team who they've beaten before. They have. All right. They like to be a giant slayer a little bit too in the ACC. Maybe they catch UNC lacking. UNC, ginormous letdown spot in their first game of this tourney, right after a couple of days of rest. Would not be surprised if the Hokies, coming off a big win against Florida State the day before, shock the world and shock UNC, who's sitting back, fat, happy, and complacent. Bacot's eating his, Armando Bacot burger down the streets because they already clinched the number 1 seed in the ACC. What does UNC have to get up for in this game against the Hokies? And the Hokies have everything to play for in this spot, Javon, because if they don't win this fucking game, their season's done. Or we'll catch you in the NIT. Oh, gosh. They can beat this UNC team. They've got 2 bigs in Poteet and Kidd who can take turns and they can hang around a little bit. And it's not like Bacot is, fucking Zach Edey down there. He's more focused on defense right now anyways. We've got Couture to cover RJ Davis. They've got the pieces to upset UNC in a massive letdown spot. Then you move on to the next day. UNC, easy, done, outright. We move. They play Pitt or Wake Forest. They're going to beat either of those 2 Mooshit teams. We own Pitt. Don't know how, don't know why, but we do. We beat them every time. We'll beat them again there. And Wake Forest, that one's not going to be easy. Okay, not going to lie to you. Not going to be easy one bit, all right? But more than capable of outshooting that team from deep. We just saw Sean Padilla be named 3rd team all ACC this season. That's some confidence that kid needs going into this tournament, all right? He needs some good fucking vibes after a terrible ending to the season, all right? So they're going to beat that team too. They're going to go on to the championship. They're probably going to beat Duke, Virginia, Clemson, whoever the hell it is. Not going to matter. At that point, it's already written. Hokies win.
I mean, I can't really say anything after that.
Shit.
See how it goes.
I mean,
I'll put my money where my mouth is.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't think it's that weird that the 8 seed has the 7th highest odds. That's what I just don't think that's weird.
All right. Well, if you want to word it like that, sure. But do you think it's weird, seeing how short of odds they're getting compared to the rest of the teams around?
No.
You don't think it's weird? Why are they 30-1 around other schools who are better and who have beaten them?
I mean, everybody's beating them. You could say that about the whole bracket. Yeah. I mean,
but why is Syracuse 65-1? Syracuse just skull fucked us the other day.
Syracuse on the bottom
40.
Bottom of the bracket. O side.
Does it really matter that much, dude? I guess.
I think it does. I mean,
we've got UNC in our way.
If they do beat UNC, I mean, it's a lot of the reason that I like UNC is because after that, you're going to have Pitt and Wake in crucial game, assuming Wake gets past them, which is no safe assumption. But if Wake gets that game, that is a crucial game for both of those teams bubble-wise. So, I think after that, that's their Super Bowl. Not that it secures everything, but Wake is still probably going to need a win to really make noise in there. But I think that'll be their job done and all they can do. So after that, I don't think there's another upset waiting for really either of those teams. So if Virginia Tech's in their path, that could be definitely one up there. But I don't think they get past UNC. And I hate the rest. I hate the rest of the ACC. And I think if Miami wins today on that bottom of the bracket, that they can make some noise and upset some teams and maybe get to the semis or the finals and not win it, but cannibalize the bottom of that bracket. So easy pickings for UNC, who does still have stuff to play for because they want to secure that 1 seed. If they lose early to Virginia Tech, that's definitely in jeopardy. But yeah, I think it's UNC, unfortunately.
We got sub bangs coming in, chats. We got Gabe Rod, 1814, resubbing 12 months. W's. We got Nola coming in, resubbing for 10 months with a fire emoji. Love to see that. All right, that's hearts, W's, chat. Let's keep moving and grooving. What else you want to say about UNC's at plus 150? Anything?
I mean, no, not really. They're the favorite.
Okay. All right. You want to talk about the Big 12? Because I picked the favorite there as well, I believe.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm going Houston. Seeing them at plus 100, I thought was ridiculous. I know they're Houston. I know they're insane, but let's not act like there's not some other good squads in this conference tourney. I mean, the Big 12 has been pretty fucking stacked. People have said it's the best conference this year in college basketball. And this is the year we're seeing Houston, as the favorite this much. I'm seeing on some books they're minus 135. They opened up plus money some places. They're catching steam already. Insane. As Dogod gives out a 5U whale. Let's go, Dogod. Sure we can. W's. All right, but yeah, Houston. I don't see them losing. I'll be honest with you, Javon. And seeing them get this much respect on the odds, I thought was crazy, especially when there's, the Cyclones lurking as well. Kansas going to be looking to prove something. This is the best Big 12 I've seen, in a long time, and the best conference in college basketball this season. And this is the year we're getting Houston at minus money now to win the whole conference tourney. That's some serious respect. I think Houston locks in. They get a big-time conference win.
Well, I can give you a little bit of context as to why there were some moves there, because you know what announcement was made last night? That's Kevin McCullough and Hunter Dickinson are not playing this tournament. So that drastically changes the field for, I think, everybody, but especially team that I'm taking at the bottom of the bracket. I like Baylor. And that's for their own reasons in the bracket. Like, I think they can take care of Kansas, or God forbid, like, I think if Cincinnati comes out of that West Virginia game, which I'm kind of thinking they are, I think they can beat Kansas, healthy or not. I think that'll be a game. There always is one of those games with Kansas as a massive double-digit favorite where the team kind of stays in the game and it gets very weird. Cincinnati fucking blows, but now that they have a significant size advantage in there, they're going to have Bandogo and they're going to have Lakin in there against the Kansas team who can't score and who doesn't have any bigs in there. And they're going to be super, super thin. So I wouldn't be shocked if Kansas they punt this tournament, because that's kind of what they're at right now with no Dickinson and no McCullough. They have no scoring options. They just want to get healthy and kind of move. But even if they come out of that, I think Baylor's going to absolutely destroy them if they get through that game. And then they match up pretty decently with Iowa State too. And it is scary to fade Iowa State because it's literally Hilton North up there, which that is their second home. It's always been. They've been fantastic in the tournament. Their fans always show out. But that Kansas State-Texas game is a sneaky one too, because that's a lot of tournament implications with whoever comes out of that game. And especially if it's Texas, I think they match up really well with them too. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see them go through the next round either. So Baylor, I think, is set up pretty well if they can get through Kansas in the bottom of this bracket to make it through. But scroll up to the top of the bracket, Goots, because I think Houston's a little more vulnerable here than people are giving him credit for. So first of all, like I don't think that if TCU gets through, which I'm thinking they do, I don't think they're going to beat Houston for a second time. But whoever comes out of that top of the bracket, whether it's BYU, who matches up beautifully with Houston, whether it's Texas Tech, who they might be a little small right now, but their guards can certainly hang with Houston's guards. Like, I think Houston goes down in the semis at the very, very least. I wouldn't be surprised, even if it's TCU. I think they're going to make it a game. If it's Oklahoma, which I really hope it's not, teams that have both played them well, TCU's beat them. Oklahoma came very close, and they're very desperate teams because they're in situations too. And Houston's a little banged up too, not as bad as a Kansas, obviously, but I think Houston goes down. And I want to take a team out of the bottom of the bracket to beat them. On the other side, whoever comes out of that, I'm going with Baylor.
All right. Well, that's sketchy. I'm going with the favorite here, though. What do you got, Goots?
I know I'm looking ahead to March Madness here, but I am seeing that JMU might draw Kansas in this tournament. And I think that'll be the most public underdog of the whole tournament if JMU draws Kansas.
That might be.
Yeah, I mean, especially if Kansas ends up losing in their first game in the Big 12 tourney here, or kind of giving up. No Hunter Dickinson, no McCullough. Would not be surprised if the Dukes get some serious attention.
What's the seeding matchup there, Goots?
I'm not sure, but I'd have to look back at it. I saw it last night.
Because JMU is not going to be a 16 seed, right? They're going to be like a 13 or a 12, something like that.
Yeah.
What is Kansas right now? Like a 4?
4, yeah.
So I wonder if they could 13. I wonder if they could lose their way out of this matchup, or they would have to win.
They could. Yeah,
maybe not that a 5-12 would be significantly better, but maybe if it's JMU or you're facing a team instead of JMU, it might be.
Yeah.
All right, Chad. Any other opinions? Any other teams? What's up, Goots?
Just an interesting nugget that I saw and I want to bring up.
W. Gootsnock.
Yeah.
Okay. Chad, any sleeper picks, any dark horses in the Big 12 that you guys are seeing? I don't know if I'm seeing any.
I got to say, on a game-to-game basis, like I'm getting serious vibes on upsets from hopefully Texas versus Iowa State in that game. And then, it's going to be a little public, whatever the line is, but Cincy hopefully against Kansas in those two matchups.
Yeah, we'll see. I just don't see Houston losing. I think it's pretty weird they're catching steam as a favorite in this conference tourney. When's the last time they've won this conference tourney? Do we know who the defending champion is? Yeah.
Well, it's definitely not Houston because it's their first year in it.
Yeah, but do we know who the defending champ is?
Was it not Texas?
Kansas or Texas?
Pretty
Texas?
sure Texas won it last year, did they not? Was that Rodney Terry's Mickey Mouse run?
I know they had Mickey Mouse season. I forget if they actually closed it. Yeah, hook 'em. Okay. Why is it weird that Houston is catching steam as the best team in the country? Well, I'll give you my opinion. I think it's weird because we've heard all season that this is the best Big 12 we've ever seen, the best conference of college basketball, and this is the year we're getting Houston as a minus money to win this conference tourney with all these good teams. I think that's weird, personally. But we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think to the casual bettor, I mean, you look up and you see a bunch of teams that don't really have a shot right now in their bracket, which I think could be a part of it. Kansas team who usually makes a lot of noise, of course, in the tournament, also not having their entire team kind of hurts too.
Agreed. This Fordham game is close. Yeah, chat. What are you guys sweating out? Let me know. Crabs, you like Oklahoma State live, backdoor cover plus 5.5. I don't love it. I'll be honest with you. I don't love it. I would have liked to take Davidson on the spread if I had to take something in either of these two games, but maybe that ends up being a good thing. I'm not really in a rush to back Oklahoma State. I thought that spread was a little bit short, Javon. I don't know what your thoughts are, but did you like them on the spread before that game got kicked off?
I was kind of torn on that game. I want to see specifically because I'm not watching the game, obviously. I want to see what the turnover count is right now because that's what's going to be the difference. Where's Javon Small? He has 3 turnovers already, which is exactly what you kind of thought was going to happen. So, yeah, that's probably going to happen more in the second half. I'll tell you that right now. So, I would not be putting coins on Oklahoma State, but I haven't been watching it, so who knows?
Okay. All right. W's. We've got a couple other conference tourneys to cover here. We got Green Guy coming in, resubbing as well. Love to see that. Baylor and Houston. All right. I like your Baylor angle. Should be a pretty good look as well with Kansas, being pretty soft and resting their guys. Really weird. See how it plays out.
Yeah.
This is a crazy fucking sheet, man. I got some crazy plays on here. Let's go to the Conference USAs. All right, let's talk about them. It looks like you've got Sam Houston on your board, Javon, at plus 500 at the top of that bracket. What do you like about the Bearcats? You like how they have a pretty good path, easy path to the championship?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it easy, but I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean, I don't think they're losing to whoever comes out of that first game, and then you got to play a couple of teams who are just really weird and super inconsistent. Which I guess you want to bet on a little bit more of teams that are not like that, or bet against teams that are not like that in a conference setting. But Sam Houston, they're kind of the slept-on favorite in my mind in this matchup. You look at the bottom, there's a lot of the Louisiana Techs. You obviously got the Western Kentuckys, who's always there making noise. So if that bracket feels significantly more loaded, and I don't think that's really a question, than the top side of the bracket. So if they can get through a couple of these teams that really cannot defend, I think they're going to make life really tough and at least have a shot to get to the championship. So I think the value shot's worth it. But in the bottom of the bracket, I know you're taking a massive stab, which I can respect because that bracket is going to be absolute madness too.
Yeah, I'm taking a stab at a big-time dog down there in Middle Tennessee State, a team that for some reason just balls out in this conference tourney. I don't know what it is. We talked about it on the pod about Longwoods in their conference tourney, always making some magic happen. And in recent years since they've joined it, just having great success in the conference tournaments. Kind of the same thing with Middle Tennessee State here. And after a bad year, we're seeing the squads, not get a lot of crazy line respects. They're like 65-1. Those places where you look, not great, obviously, because, you've got Louisiana Tech as the big time favorite. And we know this conference had FAU and UAB, I believe, both in this conference last year. That's why it's looking a little bit depleted this season. And Louisiana Tech is probably, the odds on favorite, or they are odds wise, but Sam Houston, low-key, the Bearcats, grab that number 1 seats. I think that's a pretty good play, Javon, at plus 500. My body would not let me click enter and type in Sam Houston State for this, but I do think that's a pretty good look at the top of the bracket. You'll get through Jacksonville State or Florida International pretty easily, and then you've got to beat Liberty or UTEP, who stink at the bottom of the brackets. I mean, I took a stab at Middle Tennessee State, Javon, because they get a Louisiana Tech team right off the rip who really has not been playing great or looking great at all down the stretch. I mean, they are fumbling the bag. They fumbled the 1 seed away. They're still the odds-on favorite to win this conference tourney at plus 115, but I'll take a stab at their opponent in that first round because if they get through that, they have smooth sailing all the way to the championship, and I think they win the whole shebang. All it's going to take is a crazy upset against Louisiana Tech, who's playing their worst basketball of the season right now. I think they get to them. I really do. I think there's way too much value on Middle Tennessee State, a team who, yeah, sure, they're missing one of their better players, who got hurt this season, Cameron Weston, I believe. He went down, but they've still got Jared Coleman-Jones, who's one of the best players in the country. Absolute studs. And they've got a couple other guys as well, Justin Porter, Elias King, pretty solid, capable role players. I'll take a stab at the Blue Raiders, excuse me.
Blue Raiders,
that's just way too much value, man. Big number, and they can pull off that upset against Louisiana Tech. They are not confident right now.
You can. Louisiana Tech, I mean, that's also probably a very solid first-round bet because Louisiana Tech, I know they're coming off a couple games where they kind of did the same exact thing, but they've been getting a lot of line respect lately, and it just hasn't meant a single thing. They always get these big lines for absolutely no reason. So I think Middle Tennessee, at the very least in that first game, if they don't get through, they can keep within the number. I think that game will be close.
Yep. Honda pay. I'm with you. Who'd you take a stab on in this conference tourney?
I got Sam Houston State.
Sam Houston State Bearcats.
Yeah. Suleiman Doumbia masterclass on the inside, playing a couple teams that don't have bigs up there too, which is also a pretty big advantage. So I'm rocking with them.
Yeah, that team was red hot down the stretch, man.
Yeah, it's a team I don't want to get in front of right now.
No. Can't make it up. Fucking Sam Houston State Bearcats, man. Unbelievable. Yeah. Absolutely unbelievable. All right. Let's hop to the MAC. All right. And no, I did not just give Mount St. Mary's as my MAC pick, although they do have, an unbelievable freshman in Deshane Montgomery, and Dakota Leflue is a beast. And they could score with ease, but we're not here to talk about the Mounts. Okay. We're here to talk about our MAC winners. I know it is pretty soft. I do think they have a chance. It's not going to be easy, though. I want to hear about your Fairfield angle, though, at plus 300. What are we liking about them winning the MAC?
Yeah, well, truthfully, this is A, probably not one of my more confidence one either, but B, it's a lot having to do with the bracket, which, Goots, if you want to go ahead and put it up there, I am very scared of the top side of that bracket because there are a couple teams, even if it happens to be a Mount St. Mary's or Canisius team, that hops out. I think they're very live to beat Quinnipiac, and Quinnipiac is one that scares me too. And that Riders-St. Peter's game, the winner of that scares the absolute shit out of me if I'm betting anyone at the top of the board. Those teams that we both know can get hot in their own right and play great defense, and it's going to make life tough for any team they see coming off the top, even if you're facing the 1 seed Quinnipiac. I think that is a crapshoot top of the bracket there. So I wanted to take the value stab at the bottom, and the bottom is pretty weak too. So like Fairfield is the team who I – at the price feel most confident. I think they might be a favorite or tied for the favorite, and I think rightfully so with the teams they have to go through at the bottom compared to the top. And I think their play style matches up pretty well with a lot of these teams, especially if they're seeing Iona or Manhattan teams who have really struggled to defend really the entire second half of the conference season. Then you got to play, assuming it's going to be Marist, liable for upsets there if it happens to be Niagara, I think. But again, it's just it's a play on the side of the bracket. I think they have a significantly easier path than Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac kind of got screwed with this draw.
Yeah, they did. They're going to have to play the Mount.
Yeah, just might.
Gosh, man, if we can beat Canisius. I do think we beat Canisius today. Moving up to -4 on the spread. Good sign there. Coming off a bounce-back loss where we put up 90 points and took it out. Insane. Yeah. All right, let me tell you about my actual pick, though, in the MAC. Can I? The Peacocks. They've been here before. We know their story, right? It's one of the craziest stories in all of sports. I think they run it back again, and they win this conference tourney. Look, Javon, a lot of different types of teams in this conference. You've got the Fairfields. You've got the Quinnipiacs. These teams like to score, 100 points a game or try to, and they win with offense. You've got the Riders, the Niagaras, the Ionas who, like to score in the 70s, putting up pretty good offensive results, not really having too much of an identity or being too good at anything on either side of the ball. And you've got the St. Peters, and then you got the Marists, who are slow and they win with defense. They're not, lighting up the scoreboard typically. They might have some guys, but they're not scoring 80 points, 70 points a game. Okay, that's not their bread and butter. That's not what they do. In a conference tourney where teams are nervous as heck, they're playing in a rundown, 200-year-old fucking arena on the boardwalk up there in AC, the Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall. It's like falling apart. It's nasty. Not really a great environment for points or scoring, in my opinion. I think it's an environment for defense, for tenacity, for mistakes. And whatever team makes the least amount of mistakes and whatever team can force the most mistakes is going to find themselves at the top of this conference, at the top of this, at the end of the brackets, right? I don't see a world where St. Peter's doesn't have a chance. They're the most physical team in this conference. If the refs let them play their game, they're going to dominate and be physical and absolutely out-rebound, outman any team, any opponent they face. And they also have, an extremely good player in Corey Washington, who, if you haven't watched him play yet on the Peacocks, averaging, close to 17 points a game. This kid is a absolute stud. He is a bucket. He's clutch, right? He can finish games. He's had a couple game winners for the squad over the years, but I've been extremely impressive with his style. He's a big physical guy. And I want to back him and the Peacocks to make some noise here. I'm feeling pretty good about my pick here. And I think they could hand, some squads here like Quinnipiac, like you were saying, or, potentially Fairfield if they get down to it, a fat loss down the stretch because their physicality. It's just going to come down to the refs. Are they going to let them play? If they do, St. Peter's, there's a reason why they're the 5th seed in this conference and they're plus 500s, with some serious line respect.
Yeah, I can see that. Like I said, the Riders St. Peter's winner scares the shit out of me. If I'm betting really anybody else in this conference, I think they're going to be making noise regardless.
And you know why I picked St. Peter's over Rider? One of the main points?
Let's hear it.
Because the Bronx already beat them twice this year. It's tough to beat a team 3 times. Give me the Peacocks. I think they start going nuclear. We'll see. I mean, Ryder was getting gassed up preseason. They dropped the ball halfway through the year. They were atrocious, and then they started to pick it up and play real basketball down the stretch. But, yeah, the fact that they've beaten St. Peter's twice already this season, that's cookie.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Sure.
Davidson choked. What do you know about it? Hilarious. God, that team stinks, and they get the craziest line respect for zero reason now. If I faded them this season instead of 2 seasons ago, Javon, I'd be rich.
Yeah, you'd be literally Jeff.
I'd be Jeff. All right. That's enough Mac talk for one day, I believe.
So are we just going through the ones that are starting today, or are we saving the other ones for tomorrow, or what's the plan here?
I feel like we should save the other ones for tomorrow and go over some plays for today with these remaining 20 minutes.
Sure.
We got 10 starting tomorrow, I think.
Holy smokes. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we could take our time a little bit with this one. We only had 5, but we'll pick up the tempo and go over that 10-piece tomorrow, or at least some of the big ones that the people want to hear about. We got Busted on a Stack, resubbing for 4 months or after 4 months. Love that. Jump TV, resubbing after 3 months. Hi. What's up, Jump TV? W's. All right. Javon, where do you want to go, brother? You want to go to the association? You want to go to the ice? You want to go to the college basketball games today? What are we thinking?
We can go to CBB first.
Sure. Super down. Love to hear it. All right. Looks like UCF off to a nice little start in the second half. Already up 8. I bet.
Yeah, what do you know?
Already went over some of these games, right? Obviously on the Sharp Report here.
Yep.
Any opinions on G-Dub and LaSalle?
I don't got much there. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Don't got much there? I want to take G-Dubs, but I don't know if I'm biased. or not. They've lost twice this year to LaSalle. And George Washington, man, what a bad second half of the year after a great start. My goodness. They played like the worst team in basketball for the last month and a half of the year until 2 games ago. And for some reason, they turned it on. They beat St. Bonaventure outright at home by 11. Impressive. And then they go on and almost beat Duquesne outright as plus 10.5 dogs. They lost by 2 in that game. Seems like something clicked again for Buchanan, for James Bishop, for this, pretty small George Washington team. But will that matter too much against LaSalle? I don't really think it will. I wouldn't be surprised if they pull off an upset here and, change the trajectory of their season after a very disappointing second half. And we've already seen LaSalle beat them twice this season.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. Wouldn't be shocked at all.
All right. What about West Virginia and Cincinnati? You think Cincinnati just beats the freaking brakes off of this team, West Virginia, and just destroys them? Their season's over. They take a seat. What do we think here?
Yeah, I don't really think so. I think this game is going to be a little grosser than people think, which I guess not grosser than people think. It's probably not the right way to put it because I've seen a lot of people on this under, which I do agree with for the most part. But there's always just a couple of these games, especially like in the first round of the Big 12, where it seems like there's easy answers on both sides, and usually there's the one that comes through. And as I see, UCF starting to take a little lead in the second half, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a pretty close game. And I'm definitely not putting my coins on West Virginia. I still think Cincinnati's going to win the game and eventually get to Kansas. But I think both teams are going to struggle to score for parts of this game, which is not usual West Virginia basketball, with as bad as their defense has been over the past, couple weeks, really just the entire conference season. But Jesse Edwards has a little bit of a match today inside. Really, he's got two of them. And then you got I assume Raekwon Battle at the very least is going to be switched on to Newman for a little bit. He was one of the best defenders in the Big 12. And maybe that creates mismatches elsewhere, but they've shown that they're going to do it to a lot of the best scorers on each team. So I don't know. I think it's a lower scoring game. Maybe West Virginia keeps it close.
I mean, they haven't done anything, haven't won a game, haven't covered in forever. Maybe they hit the reset button and they keep this one close. They have the talent. They just haven't put it together, man. I mean, look.
Can't be any worse than the last game here that they just played, last week? They lost by 40 almost.
Little revenge angle, right?
Yeah.
They just got obliterated. They've been getting obliterated. Maybe we see Raekwon Battle and co. step up and show some fucking heart for once when they get a little season resets. They are minus 108 on the Green Book as well. Good sign. Definitely more of the Crabs play on that side. I just thought that spread was pretty fat. But with the way West Virginia's been playing, I mean, it should be fat. Right?
They were 11.5 point favorites when they beat them by 36.
And now they're down to 9.5. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and give me Dub Bay.
Yeah.
Dub Bay. All right. Louisville, NC State. I got nothing in that puppy.
Yeah, I got nothing either.
I like St. Louis against Rhode Island. Don't love them, but I think they continue building on, minimal momentum. I think they got to win the other day. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat Rhode Island. Don't love that game enough, though. Obviously, the Mounts against Canisius has to be played for the vibes. Nothing in Vermont, New Hampshire either. You got any thoughts on that? New Hampshire, low-key kind of covering machine this season.
Yeah, sneakily are. I will say I was a little surprised to see that total moving up ever so slightly.
Yeah.
It kind of is making me think that New Hampshire is going to score a little bit. They did play. I don't want to bet New Hampshire because, you were sharp at picking them, I think, the last game of the regular season when they were plus 9.5, and they kept it close. That game was low scoring in the 60s, I think, and seeing the total move up on, a tournament setting at the very least is definitely interesting.
I'm with you. I like this Bryant game a little bit more too, and people in chat are talking about it. I like Bryant on the spread, Javon. They entered this tournament playing pretty well, winning their last 3 games in a row. UMass Lowell last season, it gave me great vibes. I watched them. They were a fucking wagon. They beat UMass last year. Their rival, new up-and-coming team. They had their best squad they've ever had last season. This year, they've been pretty solid as well, 21-9. They might even have a better record this year. But they don't look as sharp, and they haven't been able to close games out at all. I like taking a stab at the red-hot Bryant Bulldogs, who really haven't been there all this season, but we know they've had, success winning this tournament in years past or getting to March Madness in years past with guys like Peter Kiss. I think Bryant, at least keeps this game within a couple, and this game, ends up going down in the last possession. Maybe UMass wins, but if they do, it's going to be by a handful of points, not by 7.
Yeah, I like Bryant. I'm glad you brought it up because I was looking at these games, and what the common theme seemed to be in both the games. They beat Bryan decently handily. I guess you could say in both games they were literally the 2016 Warriors from 3, which, they're going to be at home, I'm pretty sure, in this conference tournament setting game. But I don't think that's going to hold up for a third time, and they're going to have to get a lot done at the rim, which is definitely a little sustainable against a Bryan defense that is really not much of anything on the perimeter, but I think Bryan scores right there with them.
I'm with you. Yeah, we cannot forget Doug Edwards, right? Remember him from the fucking crazy St. Peter's run a couple years ago? He's on Bryant.
March Doug.
He's on Bryant.
March Doug could be a thing.
We'll see if he wakes up. Davidson game going to OT. Crazy madness. Love it. All right. If you guys aren't tapped in watching these day games, what's even the point? Why are you even here? Lock the fuck in. All right.
Yeah.
Dubs. What else, Javon? Any Lamar McNeese talk? I kind of like McNeese laying this fat number against a Lamar team that almost upset them the other day. I'm surprised they weren't on your card.
The only reason it's not on the card is because if this was a normal conference tournament, I would say yes, but it's on their home court. So, I think the line makes a little bit more sense, but I still think they roll in this game. It's just I don't know. It kind of plays in how they play because Lamar gets off to a slow start damn near every single game. So like McNeese is probably going to punch him in the mouth, but I feel a little more confident in that if they didn't have a little extra rest compared to Lamar, who just played yesterday and kind of got their defense settled in and started playing better as the game progressed. So that's the only reason why I can see McNeese winning by like 12. Just kind of smelled like a hook to me.
All right. I kind of want to lay it with your boys, man.
I'm not going to talk you off of it.
Okay.
I think it's the right side.
I know, but your gut's telling you maybe they don't show up in this first round.
So I don't think they
or in their first game.
I don't think they show up for 40 minutes, which is my concern. Especially like they're a very heavy 3-point shooting team. Like, yeah, they're on the home court, which alleviates a lot of that pressure, but playing a defense that kind of figured something out in that first matchup, and they started to get going after yesterday. So, yeah, they might be a little tired, but McNeese could also be a little rusty coming into this game, which is a concern too, and maybe a little comfortable after they've been sitting at home for, the entire week. I don't know. It's just a little weird. I want to take McNeese in their next game as opposed to this game, whatever the line is.
All right. Well, hopefully they steamroll Lamar, a team that almost beat them the other night when they're laying 14 points. I think they will.
Yeah.
Nick Moose. All right, Flyer faithful. He doesn't believe. We'll see how that one plays out. Okay. How about Charleston up to 10 on the spread against Stony Brook, man? And how about all the heart shown from Stony Brook? I'm watching that team play last night, Javon, and I'm thinking, how are they doing? They don't have any guys.
No.
They don't have any studs.
Just
They're winning with layups and just drives to the hoop, free throws. I mean, they scored one field goal in the last 10 minutes of the game. Still won because their opponent just fucking folded. Hofstra melt job. What a waste. What a waste.
Yeah.
From Hofstra, man. Golly. But Stony Brook getting 10 now. This kind of gives me Arkansas State vibes from last night a little bit. Maybe Charleston drops the hammer and they win this game big time.
I could see that. I don't want to get involved in this game personally, but definitely wouldn't be taking Stony Brook.
Charleston barely escaped Towson yesterday. They should not have won that game.
Yeah, they really should not have won that game.
No.
Oh, shout out UCF.
They did, and they're laying 10 now. So
11 really second half for UCF, huh?
Wow. Big time run. Probably some turnovers involved.
Can bet you there was. Fucking
probably some turnovers involved.
It's just
but guys, this spread opened up at 6.5, folks. 6.5. It's up to 10 some places. And yeah, Fordham's about to beat Davidson outright. Holy smokes. Yeah, we got to fade Stony Brook and take Charleston in this spot. I'm not going to lie to you. That total's also down 10 points. Guys, we're seeing a lot of these totals in these championship games drop a ton, and for good reason. And this is why I think I'm going to take every single under in March Madness and see how it goes. After a season of just points, overs, the most amount of points we've ever had in a college basketball season ever, it's still going to be tournament vibes. It's still going to be, missed shots, missed layups, mistakes, turnovers, nervousness, slow possessions. It's still going to be tournament-style basketball. These are still kids. They might be getting paid now. They might be rich kids. But they're still kids. They're still going to be making mistakes. And after a season with, a record amount of overs and points, I wouldn't be shocked if we just see an insane amount of unders down the stretch here, like we've seen in recent years once you get to March Madness when, people are wanting overs. They want to bet on them. They want points. And also they've seen, a higher level of points as time's gone on. But Javon, people are forgetting that these kids are nervous and they play like it out there on the courts when everyone's watching them. You know what I mean? They're just kids. It's psychology.
Yeah.
Simple math. I'm going to be fading and taking a lot of unders in March Madness.
Fair enough.
Already taken a good amount of them in some of these tournaments and semifinals and champs.
Yeah, it's been working.
It's been working.
Yeah.
Neutral court unders, yes, they work. They do. All right. Miami, already talked about them, Chad. If you guys joined late, probably our favorite play on the college basketball board today. Miami, Florida, taking a big-time win against Boston College. Avoid being beaten by 3 separate times this season by Boston College. That just can't happen. Cannot happen.
Simply cannot.
Nope. Javon has a Wagner future. Chats. So if you're looking to get in on a dog today, maybe give Wagner a look. All right. They're plus 7.5. He's loving that spread. Any other CBB looks for later today?
No, there's none that are screaming at me. I feel like we have to talk about the Zags for a second.
Sure. Zags St. Mary's.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they lose that game, but I don't think anybody does.
Yeah, I mean, Gonzaga has ended the season, incredibly, right? So they've kind of put all those whispers to rest. I feel like when people were calling them soft, people were calling them, bad early on in the season.
Yeah,
they put those, doubts. They absolutely silenced them with ease, if I could say so myself. St. Mary's definitely the square sides, I feel like, but Gonzaga, very, very popular, sharp pick. Kind of want to stay off of it. Spread moved from -1.5 to -4. Some places for Gonzaga, we're seeing 3.5 juiced here. Would not be surprised if we get to 4 on most books, and deservingly so. The way Gonzaga finished the season, I don't know who on this St. Mary's squad is going to be able to slow down Graham Ike right this second, because he's playing like the guy. Now we've seen Graham Ike in big games at Wyoming, in big games early on in his Gonzaga career, fold and not show up a lot. Maybe he doesn't show up in the championship here. I don't know. But is Graham Ike the kind of guy you want to have your coins on in a championship, Javon? Or do you think he's turned the page? And is this a new and improved Graham Ike who knows how to finish the job?
I think it's a new and improved Ike. It's like I do think, like, to some degree, they're going to have to get the ball out of his hands, especially because I think one of the more underrated storylines of this game is they don't have Harry Wessels, which is their backup big to put up against Graham Ike and I guess Ben Gregg with the second unit for parts of it. So, like, they're thin. Once they go to the bench, if they get Saxon in foul trouble, which he does every single time, I swear I watch them play, they're fucked. Like, St. Mary's is not going to be able to do anything. They're going to have to go to zone. It's their only hope. So they're going to slow this game. 138.5 total. It's definitely going to be a St. Mary's type game, especially in a championship. But I don't know how the Zags lose.
I don't either. And looking at that steam, I'm not looking to fade it. I have seen everybody on Gonzaga today, and for good reason. They probably take care of business, but I would not be shocked if they fall flat on their faces and we see Gonzaga melt once again. Either way, they're in the tournament. Doesn't matter. And this team has just been an absolute whack all year, right? St. Mary's, they have as well. And maybe not as they might have not as looked, as good down the stretch, but record-wise, I mean, they were undefeated till that last game when they lost to Gonzaga at home, right? In that last regular season contest. They deserve respect, but they're not getting it from the odds makers. Probably a good telltale sign for the Zags.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Chat, what else we got? I know Trent putting coins on Zaga. Mary's plus 3.5. He's definitely not betting on St. Mary's, tell you that much.
Yeah.
That I can guarantee. All right. Any late night Geysermans? Anything else besides these two games here?
The Horizon League.
Ooh,
Milwaukee.
I'm good.
You good?
You're good on the Horizons? You don't want to talk
about the Horizon.
All right, Scoots. Let's get the squad ride moving and grooving. I want to see green on that one. Run that shit. All right, chat. We smacked a squad ride last night. I think it was the only play I hit on the books last night. Pretty insane. Can't make it up. Javon, let's keep it that way, though. If it's going to be that way, or be that way with the squad ride, cashing that one out of any other play. All right. If that's the only winner I have every day, so be it. Because we're 209, 139, and 6. And we're not slowing down anytime soon. All right. What has to go in here, my man? Miami?
Right? Miami has to go in there. I do have a couple NBA geysers, too. Which I don't know what you're interested in or not, but
feed me. What do we like?
Wemby is officially playing now for the Spurs, which is the one thing I was slightly worried about, that he wouldn't play on a back-to-back, and now they're -3, which is perfect. I get to buy the bad news there, or fade the good news there, I guess, with the Spurs. So Rockets, maybe, they're -3, so like -150, so just -3 I would like. You also have a really high total in the Pacers-Thunders game. The Thunder game's up to 241, which I think is very, very telling. Probably the most telling total I see on the board. I think that's really high.
241.5. Is everybody out in that game?
I mean, if anybody was out, it'd be lower.
Unders public, a little bit. What have these teams been doing recently? They've been scoring, doing their jobs.
I mean, depending on who you play. Like when you get the Pacers in a good matchup, like they're playing the Mavs, like, yeah, they're going to soar over, but against a lot of these other teams, not really.
Yeah, it makes me like a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, the Thunder.
These teams have not been putting up, 130, 140.
Yeah.
In their last couple.
Yeah. I guess J-Dub is questionable now, so we'll see if he ends up playing. But, yeah, I mean, that's secondary score for the Thunder. That's may not play in this game, and you're still seeing 241, 241 and a half.
Yeah, I like that over. I'm down to put that in here.
Yeah, I'm in for that.
All right. Good. We've got the Indiana and OKC over. Over 241. Goods. I'm really liking, that Wagner Merrimack total's down 3 points now, so that's kind of cake. Yeah. Georgia Tech, we're split on. If anybody's asking about the Georgia Tech game, I know you guys are asking about it. We already went over it. I like Georgia Tech. Javon likes Notre Dame. All right, that's where we're at.
I do feel like maybe not for a squad ride, but you're probably going to want to play this. That's just like a craps play. Do you see that game over the weekend?
The same matchup.
Same matchup. They got some guys back today, so I mean it's a little bit of good news, but it was 79-73 final. It was actually the most disgusting, low-scoring NBA game I think I've ever seen.
Right. And that total is low as fuck, man.
Yeah, I mean it's got to be after that. And now
if it opened up above that 211, I'd be going bonkers right now, but
yeah. Well, it did. I think it did open up. It did open up, but I mean, there's good news, I guess, on either side because Maxi's back and OG, I think, is back, but OG is also probably their best defensive option. So, like, I guess he's going to add to their offense too, but that's a huge part of their defense that's also back after they just both went to a 152 game from adding that up right over the weekend. And
that's absurd. It looked like a summer league stat. Did not look real.
Didn't even look like a real game.
Huh. All right. We got C-Lord coming in, resubbing W's. Let's go, C-Lord. Bang. Click the right buttons. He gets it. Right now, we've got Miami money line in college basketball. We've got Pacers and Thunder over 241. I think we put in South Dakota State. I think they roll today on the spread. Do you have any qualms with that play?
No, not any qualms. Goods, you're not escaping from this Moose Piss signing. Need your thoughts.
Patrick Queen. Is that what you're talking about?
What am I supposed to say?
Patrick Queen, Ravens fans guy. He's going to the Steelers.
To the Steelers?
Yeah, he's a fucking Steeler.
Wow.
People saying I'm a Moose, like we got Justin Matabikwe, we're fine.
All right, dudes. Hold your ground,
we always
brother.
Find a way to have a good defense no matter what.
Yeah, Derrick Henry over Queen.
Queen is crazy.
We'll see how it plays out. All right. Hey, trying new stuff is good. Whatever they're doing last year didn't work. Didn't push them through. We'll see if they can with Derrick Henry.
We'll see.
Javon, are we rolling with a three-piece? Or are we adding some more plays to this puppy? We got to get moving.
Yes, we got.
We've got Miami money line in college basketball, South Dakota State -9.5 in college basketball. We've got Indiana OKC over 241 in the NBA.
I would like to add the Rockets in there. -3. -3.
3.
Wemby just got out playing.
Love that. Love that. Yeah, I like that sell job tip. Okay. Let's put in Houston -3.
Yep.
One more play, chat. Wagner +7.5.
I mean, I'd be down to ride the future wagon.
You like that play better?
I feel like you didn't like Wagner. I mean, it's definitely a little biased, but I like Wagner a little better. Ooh, what about Bryant? I feel like
I'm down for Bryant.
We were in agreement with that one, at least.
I'm in for Bryant. I'm probably going to play that myself. The Bulldogs, red hot.
Yeah.
All right. Doug Edert season. You guys remember him? Let's hope he brings back that March Madness, March Magic. Okay. Bryant +6. I'm in for that. Let me write that puppy down. Chat, 5 plays, 5 winners. You have 2 minutes. Hurry up. We're already over. We've got the Surge stream with Trent back today. Let's go. Come on, Trent. Sure we can. We're back, chat, so stick with us. All right, give him a play if you haven't gone on there already. He will drop the link at some point during the stream. You could go up and pitch him a winning play. If you hit 10 in 1 month, you could win some serious Prize Picks promo. All right, so stick around for the third stream. We've got a squad ride votes. Absolutely cooking. All right, get your votes in. Hurry up. Go, 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 go. 5 plays, 5 winners. Miami ML. Indiana OKC over 241. We've got South Dakota State -9.5. Houston -3 in the NBA. And Bryant +6. Doug Eddert, we trust.
Sure.
All right. Dubs. Let's
Trent
go,
lurking.
chat. Trent is back. He's excited to hop back on the third stream right after this.
He's got
All
he's already had a 2K nuke placed for today before his head even hit the pillow last night.
That's impressive.
Plus TV.
Ooh, we were celebrating bumps again, folks. Here we go. We're celebrating bumps again.
Trent, you should come and tell Krabs he's on the slip.
Nah.
I'll see it, and I'll get mad already. You got to do it now.
It's the Super Goats.
All right. Well, the anti-Super Goats didn't work.
Okay.
Got close.
You almost
One
hit,
off.
dude.
One off.
And
Okay.
rumor has it that young Chelyard was the one that fucking dished out the pasta under a goal.
I don't know if he dished that one out, but he definitely confirmed. I think he gave me the hits one.
He gave you the
Which I
hits,
didn't
and
even
then
end up putting
you put in pasta just at the end, just kind of randomly. That's how I
Yeah,
remember it.
I don't think that was him, to be honest with you.
Everything else so surgical though.
Yeah, it was a good look. We had a good day yesterday. It wasn't the greatest slate, but people showed up.
The one goal they score, of course, has to come from him.
Can't make it up, dude.
Seriously, can't.
Unbelievable. That's all right. We'll run it back. Yeah, DeRozan, Chris Paul, Luka, Brock Nelson. They respect the coins.
So, sir.
Looks like we're going with Miami tonight. Love that.
Wow.
Love that. Trent, you might have to bet on the Hurricanes tonight, brother.
I will be.
Get fucking ready. All right. Dubs, chat, stick around for the third stream. Trent is back. Pitch him a play. If you are dialed, if you've got a winner, do not gatekeep. All right. Bring Trent a winning play. He will drop the link in chat. Bring the energy. All right. Stay dialed. Chat. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. We'll be seeing. Let's go, Miami. Peace.